The Bloodline are getting their own WWE Championship, a WWE Show Canceled, major AEW plans, and sweet Jesus, have you watched the Superman trailer? Yes, I know this is a wrestling news show, but good God, Guy Gardner's got comic book accurate hair. This is the most excited I've ever been for a bowl cut. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Get exclusive bonus videos over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. While Marvel is dead to me now, I've always been a DC fan. Booster Gold 444444 life. WWE appears to be moving towards my Marvel-inspired fantasy booking angle. The anti-Roman cross-brand faction of Shawing Sword. That's not a word, that's something. Sword and Seth. Yeah, there is an anti-Roman alliance forming.
Oh!
And all the people who are pissed off with Roman and the people who are deciding to like Roman now, they create their own little unit. That's Drew and Seth Rollins.
And they're called Sword.
Sword and... Yeah, they are called Sword. Sword is, of course, the space-based counterpart to Marvel's S.H.I.E.L.D. agency on Weld. And Drew McIntyre is now my Sword's Nick Fury, approaching Seth Rollins on this week's Raw about their shared enemies, CM Punk and Roman Reigns. And if you add Cody Rhodes to that list, the guy who stole his Winged Eagle title, Kevin Owens, might also be interested in joining. Now declaring himself the true WWE champion since Saturday night's main event, where he lost when Cody cheated and used a chair, that dastardly coward, Owens visited WWE headquarters as part of the Raw Netflix press conference, where he found the champion's gallery room and put a photo of him over Cody's face on the WWE champion image. But this brought the attention of Sword's Drew McIntyre, who pointed out this is very similar to what he did to a picture of Damian Priest back when they were feuding over the World Heavyweight title back in June, posting, "Can I copy your homework? Sure, just change it a tiny bit," with a clip of him putting his photo over Priest's face in the same gallery room at WWE HQ. Drew and Owens are on different brands, so they haven't been able to interact recently like Drew has with Seth, until now, where Owens replied, "I'm considering adding a Claymore to my moveset too. I mean, repertoire of offensive maneuvers." KO is most definitely making a pointed reference to CM Punk here, the mortal enemy of both Drew and Seth. As Punk said in an interview last weekend how much he hates the word moveset, which itself might have been a shot at his mortal enemy over in AEW, Hangman Page, who had used the word moveset several days before, which was a shot at Logan Paul for using his arsenal of punchy grapples. Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. Owens had also said he has the best assortment of attacks at the Netflix Raw press conference, another shot at Punk. It does feel like a Seth, Drew and KO Sword faction is already stealthily forming, especially with a new report from WrestleVotes Radio about Drew recently walking out of an interview in kayfabe. A source states that McIntyre's viral comments on Busted Open Radio last week were not scripted in any way, and that WWE loved the reaction to what went down. We are told McIntyre will be a huge focus as we head into 2025. Perhaps Drew could be Sword's leader, going against the tangled web of friendships and alliances of Cody, Punk, Roman, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn. Drew has already attacked Jey and Sami, while Seth is currently still friends with them. But with Owens on SmackDown, he hasn't crossed paths with his best friend / enemy forever, Sami, since Sami teamed with Roman Reigns again, which is what made Owens so mad at Cody. And KO has already teased in his Michael Cole Carpool Karaoke interview earlier this month, "As far as Sami Zayn's concerned, trust me, we're gonna cross that bridge when we get to it." Now, Sami has been interviewed about KO's actions on the In the Click podcast.
I don't really know what to say there, because nothing, it's one of the rare times where Kevin and I kind of went our separate ways and nothing really terrible happened. I just stayed on Raw and he went to SmackDown and we were tag team champions. We lost the titles. We went separate ways. Nothing really, nobody turned on the other. No hurt feelings as far as I know. And then, I have no reason to, I don't really know. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't really have time to stop and think about what he's thinking. I see some of his actions. Do I agree with all of them? No. I understand most of them. I don't necessarily agree with all of it. But there's also, here's the thing, I think the way it affects Kevin to see, let's say, Cody teaming with Roman, I don't know if it affects him the same way when he sees me teaming with Roman. I don't know that. Maybe it's worse, maybe it's better, but those are two very different relationships. My relationship with Kevin, as is pretty well documented now, we go back 20 years, we started in the game together. It's always going to be a little different. It hit a little different when it's someone you grew up with like that. So I don't know. I don't really care to speculate right now because I've just got too much on my plate between Bloodline business and Drew McIntyre and Seth and CM Punk, all this going on Raw. It's like just trying to keep your head in the game, So much like Kevin, I suppose when we cross paths, we'll have to deal with it when we get there. But, I don't really know that I did anything to him.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see how it goes.
I'm sure it's totally fine. Historically, Kevin Owens is famously an emotionally rational man who does not turn on Sami Zayn. And perhaps Showing Sword could have a fourth member in Dominic Mysterio, who told No Contest Wrestling he wants a match against Punk after they wrestled Punk's first in-ring matches during last year's holiday tour. I've seen kind of what he can do. It's nothing special. He does the same things. I'm pretty sure I can read his playbook. Actually, here's a good one. I know his move, Smorgasbord of Strikes. He meant to say Smorgasbord of Strikes, Punk. Quick, here's a special message from Turbo Jack. I made his wrestler Turbo Jack, and it's time to start making those New Year's resolutions. And in 2025, Turbo Jack is gonna get Turbo Jacked. That's why this festive season, Turbo Jack has been gaining uncomfortable amounts of mass. Consuming turkey, roast potatoes, Christmas pud, Slim Jims, eggnog, Christmas pud, straight lard, and Christmas pud. And to help Turbo Jack through his aggressive weight gain regime has been WrestleTalk's Patreon at patreon.com/WrestleTalk, where Turbo Jack's been binging the whole Mustache Nut War series so far between Luke and Ali of My GM mode. And if you supported the $30 tier, you get a shout out from Turbo Jack on this very show. Like he can last Sean for longer than you in the ring, Starbucks, Stephen Costa, The Last Main Event, Malcolm, Shield Maiden, The Zornice, Yo Adrian, Rocky, The Roller Coaster, Robert Acosta, The British Bulldog, Philip Boy J. Smith Jr., and Born to Do It, Evan Shibley. Go to patreon.com/WrestleTalk right now to get your own shout out and loads of other bonus videos. Thank you, Turbo Jack. Your tits are looking tight. If you want exclusive episodes of 3 Count, Survival Series, 2 series of Monday Night War, and mine and Luke's epic retrospective series on TNA's Samoa Joe vs. Kurt Angle feud, give yourself an early Christmas present and join us at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Roman Reigns vs. Solo Sikoa is a blood feud years in the making, where they will finally clash one-on-one on the debut episode of Raw on Netflix on January 6th. It's such a 3-dimensional story with deep ties into the Anoa'i family and Samoan culture that they're fighting over the Ulu Fala, which denotes the head of the family, rather than an unnecessary championship belt that will just make it feel like any other pro wrestling rivalry. So WWE reportedly want to add a championship belt that makes it feel like any other pro wrestling rivalry, WrestleVotes have posted. Sources indicate WWE has discussed introducing a Tribal Chief Championship into the storyline between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, similar to the People's Championship presented to The Rock at WrestleMania earlier this year. It seems to be one title in, one whole pro wrestling show out, as Fightful is reporting the weekly NXT Level Up show is coming to an end. NXT Level Up replaced 205 Live, remember that, in February 2022, where it would run for almost 150 episodes on Peacock following SmackDown every Friday night. It was mostly just a developmental show for WWE's developmental show, and there have been rumours since NXT moved to the CW network in October that it would be finishing soon. Apparently last night's Level Up taping would be the last of the show's run, which has seemingly been replaced by WWE's new reality competition show called WWE LFG. There's some very good news over in AEW, as not only were their ratings up for Wednesday's Dynamite, pulling in 625,000 viewers compared to the previous week's 594,000, not just 100, but also Fightful is reporting Kenny Omega is set to return sooner than you'd think. Despite being oddly announced for a match against Gabe Kidd at the AEW New Japan Wrestle Dynasty show in Japan on January 5th, AEW ran a video package for Kenny on this week's Dynamite. According to Fightful, sources in the company are discussing his AEW return for December 28th's World's End pay-per-view. And bolstering the roster even more for 2025 will also be Adam Edge Copeland, who Fightful is reporting is now cleared to return from his fractured tibia injury back in May, and is expected to be back on the 1st of January episode of Dynamite, which will be AEW's first simulcast episode on both TBS and Warner Bros. Max streaming platform. It's Christmas next week, so in place of the WrestleTalk news, we've got a jam-packed schedule of festive treats, like our wrestling pub quiz tomorrow, a recap of the whole year of WWE, special tables, lists and chairs episodes on the best and worst of 2024, our terrible annual Christmas special, and more. And Luke and I will be back next Sunday to review AEW World's End. In the meantime, Merry Christmas, and go celebrate right now by watching TNA's barbed wire Christmas tree match in Worst Match Ever. Here's a clip.
Sullivan, what do you know of the barbed wire Christmas tree match? Or this guy here?
This guy here? Absolutely nothing.
It's Relic.
Oh, Relic!
Do you know the thing about Relic?
It's killer backwards.
Oh, he does know.
It's killer spelled backwards. Say it on commentary every single time he comes out.
No way did they actually say it!
Yeah, oh yeah. Every single time Relic came out, it's killer spelled backwards.
Imagine if, like, Ekans from Pokemon said, "My name is Snake," spelled backwards.
Look at the barbed wire Christmas tree. Look at it.
That's great. Now,
In all its glory.
I've not watched this. I love a mask revealing another mask. That's great.
Oh, here he is.
Yes, that's my boy, Shark Boy. Love Shark Boy.
In a neck brace. And I can't remember why he's in a neck brace.
Loads of bandages, in fact. Oh, he's had a bad time.
Love Shark
Stone
Boy.
cold.